Kentucky. It's Sunday, June 30th, 2024, 12:04 p.m. Eastern Time. And today we're going to be speaking about searching for masculinity. Searching for masculinity. They had a documentary on Vice News. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, that's what I got to do. That's what I had to do. I had to edit it. Edit the title, Vice News. Vice. Vice News. Saint the Sinner. And there's this guy named Saint the Sinner, Marquette. He's a manosphere guy. And basically, I think he was one of the people that was part of the documentary because he's a content creator, very articulate guy, very smart. He does debates with like Princella, Tommy Sotomayor, and all them cats. In this documentary, you can find it on Tubi, Searching for Masculinity. And this basically encompasses how now in society it seems like men are softer now, like, and it seems like they have no system or no role model or anything to look up to become a man. They don't have any like any archetype and any positive influence. So what since we're in the era of technology or we could say internet, people find those individuals that can maybe help them, motivational speakers and whatnot, through online. They find them online, and maybe that guy that's their role model is good looking, successful, good with women, in shape, fights, probably tall, well spoken, confident, chest out, head high. You know what I'm saying? So, and as little kids, man, we always wanted to be a man's man. We always wanted to be that guy, that star athlete, or the drug dealer, right? We wanted to be some type of leader on a high position where everyone respected us. The men wanted to be us, and the women wanted to be with us. I mean, so this it's on Tubi, right? So Tubi, that's the free public access channel, Tubi, or app where you can see free movies and stuff, like low budget movies. But I've heard Tubi has some great movies, and it seems that this might be good at Vice News. We all know Vice. They do great work. They do good documentaries. Sometimes it could be very political, or especially like with leftist views. It could be kind of propaganda or having an ideology behind it. Maybe a one-sided view of that story, but for the most part, Vice is interesting because it brings forward a situation that you were not aware of. Now, I'm gonna get right into it with no further delay. I hope I don't get in trouble for showing this. Like, YouTube don't do no funny shit. I mean, fair use, fair use, fair use. I saw Saint the Sinner, the guy that was, in he's from the Manosphere. He was showing it on his page, but then again, maybe he gets away with it because shit, he was part of the documentary, so maybe he gets away with that. So this is what we're gonna do. Shout out to the 3 people in the building. Hit the like button. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch this documentary. And the thing about it is too is like a lot of people feel like, oh, this is all gimmicky. This is not real masculinity. A lot of times, those guys, they get exposed. These influences. That's the word I was looking for. These influencers get exposed. They're not really that. They're not him. They're not Himothy. They're not that guy. What's good? What's good? What's going on, MXC? What up? Um, these dudes are really not that guy. They're not really him. They get exposed, or they just grifters, they're saying things that they themselves don't live that or in their real lives. They don't follow those guidelines because they just out for the paper. The demagogues, right? I'm back, MXC. You already know. Tomorrow I'm gonna do my welcome back stream. Welcome back party, whatever. Maybe. Maybe. Um DD was good Morena. So we're gonna review this, man. A lot of kids are lost. They're like, yo, man, I don't want to be a punk. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be a reject. I want people to love me. I want women to love me, men to respect me. I want to earn money. I don't want to be looked at as weak. I don't want to be a simp. And none of that. I want to be him, top G. You know. And now the issue is with these influencers is that sometimes they say things that's over the top. That could be hyperbolic. It's to catch attention. To be controversial. And then the people that follow them start believing even those exaggerations or those extremes. So they're influencers, but maybe they influence negative things to people. Everyone doesn't have the same level of discernment when it comes to these things. Shout out to the 5 people in the building. And then after that, if I'm not tired, we're gonna review. Vice did a thing, where they'll have like 10 to 20 dudes in a room or people in the room, and they interview them, and it's like people from different walks of life. A black guy from Detroit, a gay dude from San Fran, a tranny from Miami. I mean, a father of 6 from Pittsburgh. So, and then they're gonna be discussing masculinity, the negative, the bad, the way the world looks at men now, all that good stuff. So, if I'm not tired, I'll do that. I'll review that one in this live. Oh no, you know what I'll do? I'll end this live and I'll end this live if I'm not tired, and I'll start the whole other one. But there's gonna be a lot of energy. I don't know. We're gonna see. You know that saying? What's the saying? A, a good man creates, a strong man creates good times. Good times creates weak men, and weak men create bad times and all that, man. I know I butchered that shit. But let's get right into it, man. Shout out to the 7 people in the building, man. 8 people in the building, man. Show your boy love too, yo. I'm doing song requests. $5 a pop. You know what I mean? It's hard out here. But $5 a pop, yo, and yeah, show your boy support, man. I'm back in the building, man. I'm back in the building, man.
Everybody could eat.
All right, let's get to it, yo. Fair use, fair use. You can find this on the Tubi website. But we're gonna do it right here.
To me, being a man means being able to care for and... Can I redo that? To me, being a man means to provide for and protect the ones you love.
It's about struggling and sacrificing without any break.
What makes a man is the things that he thinks and the actions that he takes. Control and hard work and discipline. Yeah.
Now I don't know if they're being genuine with their definition of a man. I think maybe they're just saying that because that's what they heard or sound good. Is my microphone good? If y'all could hear me well, press 1. Press 1 in the chat, yo. Shout out to Morena. Morena, when you going live again?
Being a man means things you need to protect, you protect. Things you need to care for, you care for. Having humility, having the ability to know when you are in trouble and out of your head.
Toxic masculinity is a phrase that's gained a lot of attention recently, especially with the Me Too movement.
The attack on men has been the tip of the spear in the left's broader attack on America. A lot of young...
Y'all remember that? When that came out? Toxic masculinity. No, how about just a shitty person? Just a shitty person. We don't talk about toxic femininity. Why is that? Just a shitty person, bro.
Men are just disoriented. And because of these different messages that they're getting through the lens of the culture war online, it's like being in a pinball machine.
Why is it that we have weak men today? Women want real men.
What is the ideal version of a man to you?
A man that can do whatever he wants to do and doesn't listen to anybody.
What do you want, pussy?
How to be an alpha in a relationship.
You can't stand up to a female. You are indeed. You should be responsible for and productive for as many people as you can manage.
Most importantly, I think they're desperate for an answer because it's very different from what it was for their fathers.
The most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without values. Society doesn't care about you. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are.
You want to know why Andrew Tate plays so fucking well? Because it's the purple cow in the sea of brown cows.
If you need a firefighter, you need a masculine man. When you call the police because of the problem you had, you want masculine men.
Men are failing in body, in mind, and in spirit. This is a crisis.
So what do you guys think? Do you think this is useful? Do you think these influences are useful for young men? Eileen was good. Do you think these guys are useful in society for young men and grown men, or men who are having trouble? Like the manospheric guys. And the funny thing is, you don't even have to be part of the manosphere. But if you're a man online, you're part of the manosphere. It's crazy how that shit work, yo. But what y'all think? Is this trash? Is all these guys or these influencers, is this garbage? Or you look at it just entertaining, or it's valuable information? I don't know. I think it's very valuable.
Pretty much everywhere, men and boys are struggling to figure out what it means to be a man today. I've been a reporter for a while, and I've spent a lot of time with people on the fringes of society. Extremists, outsiders, weirdos, lovable and less lovable. I met a lot of angry, frustrated guys. So dudes these days are clearly adrift, and I started recognizing a lot of those feelings in myself. I know I'm not alone asking these questions. During the last decade, a movement known as the manosphere has exploded online based on telling guys how to be men. And some of the answers are pretty dark. So what we want to know is, what are the questions that men are asking, who's answering them, and what that says about modern masculinity.
Now, it's funny, right? Because and now in the manosphere, then you had these guys that you got the SYSBM, Passport Bros. People will say, no, that's not a manosphere, but the incels, MGTOW, blue pill, red pill, black pill. It's crazy. All these subgenres. I mean, it's all about dealing with women. It's all about dealing with women, because men, in order to get the type of woman that you want, it's not just gonna be granted just because, unless you're like, you won a genetic lottery and you have all this money, like you grew up with wealthy parents or high middle class, and you just got it like that, and you got great opportunities where everything is handed to you. For the most part, most men, they you got to build yourself up, and some of us have certain traits that are better than others. Man, shit, maybe you're tall as hell, maybe you're strong, maybe you're super smart. And I think it's really the combination of all that makes you him, that guy that women want to be with. I mean, let's be real. This is what it's all about. It's all about dealing with women. I mean, which is a very important component of life. I would say it's preeminent. The relationships we had with the opposite sex, extremely important. Right? Yeah. Sovereignty first says it's becoming much harder for the average man to reproduce and pass down his genes. Yeah. Yeah. But then the other thing too is a lot of times people are pessimistic because they believe because a woman rejected them, they're automatic, oh, modern women. I think that's you jumping the gun. No, because there's always been people getting rejected. Women get rejected.
The first goal for our time together is to discuss gender norms and stereotypes particularly related to masculinity. You probably know better than me that we're going to get told all kinds of things about what it means to be a man as we grow up. Which brings us to the first breakout conversation called the man box. Everybody draw a box on your piece of paper. If you have the marker.
I don't like this already. Look who they got them. Look who they have telling God. Oh my.
My bro, it's a make a box. Whatever you want. Oh, that's a beautiful box. Look at that.
The first question is, what are the physical appearance stereotypes for boys? What clothing, what brands, what physical like body attributes, hair, all of that?
So stereotypically, guys, they're supposed to have a big ass dick. According to what my paper says. And
like being really tall, looking like tough and having a lot of body hair.
You know, for a guy, you're supposed to do like hard labor.
usually being buff and intimidating, or having some sort of masculine frame.
Well, that brings us to dating and relationships, right? Like, so we're supposed to be attractive as guys, but you don't want to have an hour-long skincare routine. That's just like a little bit too much. So what else for dating and relationships? We'll go to Will.
Dominance, being like a leader, and you're expected to pay for food and stuff like that, and
Sure.
have control in the relationship.
You want to bring a little formal atmosphere with you.
Okay.
Being expected to spend a lot of money on your significant other.
You have to be the giver always in the relationship, no matter what it is, firstly. And another thing would be you cannot have any type of emotion. Let's say if you're like whoever you're in a relationship with, and if they're having a bad day, and if you're having a bad day too, you're supposed to support them and tell them it's okay. Like, you know, tomorrow might be a better day.
Put your hand up if you're like, yeah, I'm familiar with everything we just came up with. Pretty much everyone. You can put your hands down. That's actually significant if you think about it, because nobody ever sat you down and said, like, these are the rules to manhood. Where do we get these messages? Who do we get them from? Where do we see these representations?
There's nothing like that well-groomed look to start the day off right.
Guides on how to be a man have been around for centuries, but social media has supercharged this quest for masculinity. One place with loud and clear messaging is the prominent pocket of the internet known as the manosphere, where the topics of wealth, muscles, and beautiful women are inescapable.
Men must perform, but we live in this crazy-ass world where we tell men they're equal to women.
I would tell you that if it hurts, you might be doing the right thing.
That's good.
Go find pain.
The tradition.
Go find pain. Find pain. Yo, you know, death gotta be easy because life is hard. Death gotta be easy because life is hard. Like, everyone isn't the same. Everyone doesn't learn the same, but I think going through challenges in life and all that, you know, that really hardens you as a man. And I think that's the way, man. I think women like that guy. They like that guy that's been through war. He's been through the ring and been through scars. I think women are attracted to that. You know? You know the box. That box, there's a reason why there's this archetype. There's a reason, because that's the ideal. Why wouldn't a woman want a guy who's tall and strong and not emotional and weak? A man that's gonna go and take care of business. Why wouldn't a woman want that? Everyone can't be that, but it's the ideal, right? And yo, we're not all born equal. Some of us have certain advantages that others don't, or positions in life, or connections and whatnot.
Traditional methods of creating wealth, which are advertised to you, are a scam.
It's not a formal place, but a vague catch-all term for online spaces where men can channel their frustration about how their place in society has been upended.
Everyone to be rich.
The manosphere is just part of a bigger economy of masculine content online where big personalities are teaching the art of manhood.
You better keep coming back. The sooner you understand that there is nobody coming to save you, the sooner you're going to be on your way to doing something amazing. The difference between people that are successful and not successful, it's the ability to push down the fear of uncertainty, push down the fear of failure. This is one of the reasons why
Aaron Marino is known to his 6.8 million YouTube subscribers as Alpha M. His online identity is built around helping young men navigate the unique challenges of manhood.
I shave my balls. The alpha nuts, smooth.
When did you start YouTube?
YouTube was 2008.
Early.
I'm talking like there were cat.
You see that? Yo, have art in your house, man. Be cultured. But right here, I think this is important though, like, because there's a lot of there's a lot of people that are lost. There's a lot of men that are lost. Andrew Tate is a fraud, in my opinion. It's masculinity is hyper masculine bravado. Yeah. I could see that. But that point, he's trying to sell a product now. Bugatti in my Bugatti. You know what I mean? He trying to sell himself. His intellectual property. That's him. That he's a brand, you know? But this could be helpful. Now, I'm not. I mean, come on, yo, you have to know something about how to navigate through life, how to be what you're supposed to be. But this could be helpful. I'm just saying. I don't. It depends how you take the information. Just receiving the information ain't good enough. If you see that it could be helpful to you and you apply it to your life, then that's what's up.
Videos and me. I was like the low budget blue collar GQ, and I was happily doing my thing, but there was a point at which I realized there's something bigger going on. One of the comments that I would get all the time is like, this is the stuff that my dad should have taught me, but he wasn't around. And so I felt that I was filling this specific void of the things that you would normally go to a father or a brother to ask questions. And I was kind of solving that problem for these guys. There's definitely been this like growing discontent or this growing feeling of lost and not knowing where you fit in the modern world. There you go. No, that's the wrong way to no. It's pulse points, baby. The neck, boom, boom, back of the head.
Yo, look at all the cologne this dude got. But that's a lost art right there. The cologne. They're not gonna. You. That's basic. Like everyone should know that. With the cologne, you spray the cologne, people gonna remember you for that. Like, oh, yo, he smell good. They're not gonna forget. Now, if your breath stink, they're not gonna forget either, though.
Head, maybe the ear, wrist, fedora's out. Is it? Yes, out. But it looks good on you.
Yeah.
In the last few years, Aaron noticed that the way masculinity was talked about online was moving in a whole different direction.
There came this very negative kind of like groundswell of you could get a lot of views if you just talk trash about other people. And then from there, you took it to the next step and the next level, which was, kind of like this manosphere, which really only came up, I would say, really hit its stride probably 4 years ago. I think a lot of it had to do with the pandemic because everybody was so pissed off that we were shut down and that our life was changing. And all of a sudden people started to go more extreme, right? Because there was this pissed off nature about the world. It was like, oh, fuck you. Don't tell me I can't go out. And it started with just YouTubers, but then it grew. And so a lot of these negative channels, would get monster views. And the more outlandish, the more crazy you sound, the more attention you're going to get, the more polarized your opinion, the more you're going to basically attract attention. And attention is literally the new currency.
Home warranty.
Focus.
Warranty.
What I say? What did I say? It's all business, man. But I remember, they said it's been like 4 years, but the Manifest been around longer than that. I see what he's saying, that's when it started really to blow up. And then like right before COVID, that's true, because we were all locked in. We were all on our phones. So, but I've been watching Manispheric content. Irby, what up? I don't know who Irby is. I've been watching ever since like 2016, 2017. I would like listen to those like the pickup artists and all that. But I wouldn't pay that too much mind to it. But then I remember that guy Alpha Male Strategies. That's who I really started to listen to. Yeah, I mean, it's been around forever. Like Angry Man on YouTube, like Angry Man and all shit. If you want to be realistic, it's been around even before that. When they had the forums. On YouTube, that's when around the time it started. Angry Man was one of the guys, you know what I mean? Back in YouTube, way back before you could go live, when it was just uploading videos on here.
We're in Las Vegas to meet Marquette Burton. Marquette is an online presence known as the Saint and the Sinner, and he's got a lot of thoughts about masculinity, and he's putting on a summit for a bunch of dudes.
Peace to the Saints, looking good. Good to see you out. Peace to the Saints. Peace to the Saints. Oh, welcome. Bruh, I like it. I like it. It was your inspiration. Peace to the Saints. What's going on, young boy?
Marquette Burton has found a way to leverage his online presence to draw an in-person crowd. Dozens of men from across the country have flown into Las Vegas for the Dark Truth Summit, a 2-day event that costs about $800 to attend. Burton spent the bulk of his career in the tech industry, but is now teaching young guys the tools they'll need to be his version of a great man, while also navigating the world of women.
Okay, so we have the Book of Dark Truths, and pretty much everything in the Book of Dark Truths is supposed to remain confidential. Being a good man or a great man today is different than it was yesterday and the generation previous. In fact, I can't tell you how many times in my experience I've heard chicks say, "Oh, you're such a gentleman," or "Why aren't you a gentleman?" I remember I was in South Africa. I was sitting at a bar in Cape Town. There's this Russian gold digger comes up, sits next to me, starts engaging me in conversation. She says, "Oh, would you buy me a drink?" I said, "Absolutely not." She said, "Aren't you a gentleman?" I said, "Absolutely not." Of course not. I'd be a fool to be a gentleman right now, especially because you're not a lady, which is the pairing to the gentleman. So to be a good man today is different because maybe in the 1950s, at a bar in Cape Town, there's this Russian gold digger comes up,
She
sits
dropping
next to
balls.
me, starts engaging me in conversation. She says, "Oh, would you buy me a drink?" I said, "Absolutely not." She said, "Aren't you a gentleman?" I said, "Absolutely not." Like, of course not. I'd be a fool to be a gentleman right now, especially because you're not a lady, which is the pairing to the gentleman. So to be a good man today is different because maybe in the 1950s, she wouldn't even be there at the bar. Maybe in the 1950s, she wouldn't be a gold digger. Maybe in the 1950s, she would have a lower body count. We have an emerging matriarchy, de jure and de facto. Huh? You notice the laws don't favor you? Fathers go to court, can't get custody of their kids? Huh? Woman breaks up with you, still gets to take your money. She's not even with you. Females are over-enrolled in university, which means that they will be overrepresented in political office, judges, attorneys, power holders. You will see higher levels of matriarchy, which will be unfavorable, unreasonable, disadvantageous, and detrimental to the society at large. Not only to us, also to the women as well. You leave women to their own devices, what do? Blow up their lips, blow up their chest, blow up their butt to make themselves more sexually appealing, and then complain about being sex objects. Huh? So for all of you guys, you want this. You want a family. Ideally a large one with competent people. What does this give you? What do you get from that? What? Power. Power, yes, absolutely. You get power.
For influencers like Burton, great men belong at the head of the table, at home and in the business world.
Like, if I'm going to take a girl seriously, I don't want her going to bars, clubs, and parties.
Men should be the stable ones. Men don't need to be crying in front of women. And ideally, they're not splitting chores.
These hoes don't want a partner. They want a superior. And for you to be the superior, you must actually be superior in every facet. Finances.
This fixation with male-female relations is a persistent theme within the manosphere.
Should we just get started?
Yeah, just ask away.
Sandman is an anonymous YouTuber who has lived through the evolution of the manosphere from a series of disparate channels and forums into the full-fledged industry it's become today.
I am a YouTube content creator and in the manosphere, and I talk about issues facing male-female relations in the modern day.
What is the manosphere?
So the manosphere is basically a rough collection of blogs, video channels, independent content creators that all kind of promote this idea that men have been overlooked over the last few centuries. And I think the manosphere is kind of this outlet for a lot of the energy and hostility that a lot of guys have felt because they haven't had their voices heard.
Could you break down the various camps within the manosphere?
So yeah, like it's kind of a generational thing. So you can't just look at it in terms of, oh, there are groups that people choose to identify with. I'd say the second half of the boomers and the first half of Gen X, they were kind of identifying in the men's rights camp. The MRAs were looking for safe environments for relationships. If they got divorced, they would lose a lot of their assets. That's what they were kind of worried about. And MGTOW kind of came in the late 2000s. MGTOW is men going their own way, and it's about men choosing to opt out of cohabitation and marriage and have, they could still have relationships if they want, but for the most part, focus on their own personal development. And then you get the incels, which are the involuntary celibates, and they just can't get a relationship because they're probably too unattractive, or maybe they have some social awkwardness to them in combination with the unattractiveness. And then the pickup artists, or the PUAs, wanted to kind of play the game to trick women out of that attention and validation. I think a lot of these groups have been declining for the longest time now.
Why do you say that? What's been happening?
The ideas of the manosphere have become mainstream. So there's no need for men's rights or MGTOW communities anymore.
Why have they kind of become mainstream? What has happened there?
You really started to see it explode with Andrew Tate. So he started to take all of these ideas of the manosphere and package them in a more slick and polished, muscular supercar kind of way and start selling it to the teenage guys.
Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing champion and reality TV star, built an army of fans by recruiting followers to spread his version of a hyper-masculine gospel.
You got your sword, your wife starts talking, you're like, shut up, I decide what I do.
Who's going Sharon? You see right there, that's like over the top. That's over the. You got your machete and you're like, stop, woman, shut up. Over the top, man. I find it funny, but there's people out there that they're gonna take that and run with it. They're gonna take that and run with it. 100%.
Be quiet. Cook. The best men in the world have gone through shit. That's why women love scars.
He became one of the biggest figures on social media and was especially popular among teenage boys and young men. Tate's massive success made it clear that guys all over the world were searching for a sense of purpose.
The question of how to be a man now is it's an open question. What's happened is those figures in the manosphere have tapped into a incredibly deep and large reservoir of male need, of male uncertainty, this sense of disequilibrium that a lot of young men feel, and are providing answers to these questions. In the education system, we see boys and men falling a long way behind women and girls, and the top 10% of high school graduates, 2/3 of them are girls. About 1 million men fewer enrolling in college. Male suicide rates have risen very dramatically in the last 20 years. Since 2010, all the rise has been among young men. Last year in the US, we lost 40,000 men to suicide, which is about the same number of women that we lost to breast cancer. So these are similar sized public health issues.
So why is this happening? Have men changed? Has society changed? What's happening?
In the space of at most 2 generations, we have completely upended the idea of what mature masculinity looks like. Some of the traits that used to go along with masculinity are no longer as valuable, like being physically strong. There aren't that many jobs now where being physically strong is helpful. We've really liberated women and girls and given them a new script, which is one of being powerful and being autonomous and being independent, which is a great script. We've also torn up the old male script. You're going to be a breadwinner, you're going to be a protector, you're going to be a provider. We've torn that up and replaced it with what? And the answer is nothing.
Dear men, we need to talk. We need to talk about what it means to be a man. Because I think that you deserve better. And I think that
the pace of change has been really fast. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. I also do think we need to have empathy for the people who have to adapt to all of those things.
You're a feminist and you wrote a whole book about men and how we're confused and struggling. Why should we care about this?
Because the well-being of men is tied to the well-being of women. The same system that hurts women also hurts men. And where this conversation goes off the rails is when the source of the problem is not talked about. So if you say, yeah, men are failing, immediately people go to, well, that's because women are doing well, right? Women weren't doing well because of men and the laws that they put in place, right? Like women can own credit cards and women can, go to school and couldn't even get a divorce, right? What's happening with men is different because we're still living in a man's world. And I think that's also the really important thing to sort of note is, men are still in charge.
Men will always be in charge. That's just the role that nature gave us. You could say Allah, Jehovah, God. That's what nature intended. I mean, I don't know. Like it is what it is. Like it's just one of those things. You gotta accept it for what it is. You know, like it's fucked up. But women are the ones that have the burden of having to bear children. Like it's just they have to go through all that pain. You know, some people will say, "Oh no, that's biblical. That's punishment from God." But hey, it's just and then the man's punishment was he has to work hard.
There's a pyramid. There's a huge hierarchy that happens within men, with a few men having a lot at the top, and a lot of men, they don't feel in charge. They feel powerless.
If you don't know what the script is, you don't know what you're supposed to do, it's really hard to figure out who to be. And then meanwhile, you've got this media environment where you're just getting all of these conflicting messages about who to be, how not to be, etc. And at worst, honestly, I feel like a lot of young men have a long list of things that they know they're not supposed to be. There's a long list of don'ts. There's not a very good list of do's.
Sometimes you do meet these men who are God's gift to women. Meet Ross Jeffries. He has written a book called How to Get the Woman You Desire into Bed.
Women, plural, Sally.
Women, plural, sorry. It's a step-by-step guide.
Today's masculine influencers have made providing blueprints for young men a key part of their business model.
Oh shit, my bad. Y'all couldn't hear me. A buck 65 for that book. A buck 65 for that book. Y'all couldn't hear me the whole time. Damn. $165 for that book, yo. Like I would buy it just to read it and like review it and shit. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll learn something from it, but just to review it and just to have it, like that's gonna be my thing over here. You know what I mean? Book reviews and all that. You heard? But let's continue.
Ross Jeffries was a masculine influencer before influencers were even a thing and a pioneer in the game of selling courses on seduction.
Do you think that what you're teaching is empowering men?
Absolutely. Men want systems. Men want predictability. They don't want to rely on luck. But I also think that there is a cry from the collective unconscious of all these men for a hero. It's sort of like a messiah. Someone once called me the sex messiah of the nerds. I am considered the godfather of game and the Prince of Poon.
The Prince of Poon?
The guru of getting some.
Keep them coming.
The messiah of macking. The sultan of swing.
Monarch of memories.
The ayatollah of...
Azahola.
Someone said, before Andrew Tate was a sperm cell, there was Ross Jeffries.
Before you started this, what was your relationship with women like? How are you doing dating-wise?
I couldn't get laid in a woman's prison with a fistful of pardons. Had less than no confidence. I carried a lot of shame, and I had no social skills because those were not modeled for me. But I got into this through studying neurolinguistic programming. It took 2 years of experimenting with NLP to come up with a seduction model. We started doing seminars, and then we started selling the footage of the seminars. That took off. My whole thing is to grab a woman's attention and focus really quickly. You can think of it as emotional engineering. How do you engineer emotional states very quickly? I'm not talking about lying, misrepresenting facts, negging, or any of that other bullshit. How do you do that?
So, you know, when you were saying that you feel really aroused when you see a sunset, tell me a little bit more about what that's like, Debbie. When I point to her crotch, you feel something arising. I'm imagining there's a line of energy going up and inside of her.
This point, you lean over and you whisper it to your friend's ear. Can you imagine our first soft electric brush in the lips and all the things we're going to do to each other when we get alone with nobody watching? That you get your friend all hot and bothered. I got on every freaking talk show you can imagine. I know how to work the media. I had certain sound bites I would say during the interviews.
Give me one.
For women, getting laid is a choice. For men, getting laid is a chore. No one has time to figure out your pathetic subtlety. That made me a lot of money.
And you keep bringing them drinks. You keep bringing them drinks. Eventually, one of them is going to have to go to the bathroom. That's when you make your move.
You know, I can't believe her.
I knew how to tease them with these little sound bites. Little things I knew would piss off the audience. My mother taught me if you're not pissing someone off every day, you're living too small.
What have you learned from the new kids on the block in this thing? What have you learned from like the Tates and them about like selling yourself as a business?
Andrew Tate is probably one of the most brilliant marketers of the 21st century. He figured out how to break the algorithm.
I mean,
Hustlers University. Hustlers University.
Hustlers University 4.0.
You are finally in the right place at the right time. You are the only person who can make this work, and you're also the only person who can fuck this up. I say this all the time. Hustlers University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet. Welcome to Hustlers University.
He exploited the environment. So what he did was he created his Hustler University. And so people started taking his sound bites, dumping them on Twitter, dumping them all over YouTube, starting up hundreds, if not thousands of Andrew Tate channels. And that's why he blew up, because he created an affiliate program that people would get paid to promote him. So I think that in terms of marketing, that's the genius of Andrew Tate.
Home warranty.
Focus.
Yeah, that was genius, man. That was genius. You really gotta promote yourself. Get yourself out there. You know? You really gotta get yourself out there. Really treat yourself like a business for real, for real. And it's crazy then. Remember that little wave, that time period where they say Andrew Tate, no. We're gonna ban you. Didn't they ban him off Twitter or one of those, right? TikTok, Twitter banned them? Yo, that's crazy, yo.
And so people started taking his sound bites, dumping them on Twitter, dumping them all over YouTube, starting up hundreds, if not.
He's a major presence within this online masculine ecosystem.
About a year ago, I got a photo. It was in this kid's room. It was a poster of me, and then right next to it was a poster of Andrew. And I was at Andrew's house, and I showed it to him. I was like, bro, this used to be Van Damme and Rambo. And he goes, bro, I know. The world's changed a lot.
When did you first start posting?
It would have been probably 2021. I had just gotten a little apartment down the street and hired some of the guys that helped set this equipment up. And Andrew called me and he said, hey, I know you enjoy being in this group. You see what I've built. I think that you're going to do quite well. Why don't you help me build the War Room?
Waller helped Tate build out his business through two main products. He became a spokesperson for Tate's $49 a month online business academy called The Real World. He also helped sell the War Room, Tate's top-tier fraternity. It costs $8,000 a year and offers courses and high-priced meetups, but its true selling point is membership in Tate's network of ostensibly elite men.
Tell me about the War Room. First of all, what is the War Room? Explain this to me.
The War Room is a network of guys that want to create the best life they can for themselves. We talk about business, real estate, construction, crypto, style, how to have a better relationship with your girlfriend or your wife. We talk about how to raise our children. It's a real life group of guys that are trying to do their best.
You are sort of included in this space that people call the manosphere. To me, it seems sort of grievance driven. There's a lot of anger in that space.
Well, imagine being a young man in this world, being told that you could have a good life, going through school, doing exactly what everybody says, and then getting out and not being able to get a girlfriend, not being able to get a job that can pay the bills, comparing yourself to all of the people on social media driving fancy cars all around. I would understand where a young man could feel this way, especially in 2024. Can't get a girlfriend. If he does get a girlfriend, she's constantly watching some guy like me fly over the world driving a Lamborghini. I understand completely why a young man could be disenfranchised with his situation right now. Completely.
So what do you tell these young men? How does you being on a yacht, flying a private jet, being in a Lambo, how does you doing that help this young man?
I'm living my life, and I'm going to continue to live my life on my terms. In regards to helping the young man, this is my general message to them. You're never going to learn how to do pickup and manipulate a woman into genuine desire. You're going to have to go become that man. You're going to have to work very, very, very hard and there's a good chance that it might not happen overnight.
Is it all about the money? Is it all about building the wealth and buying the multiple Lambos? Or is there something more that guys are looking for?
I think guys do want community. They don't want to feel alone. I know there's tons of other groups just like the War Room. I think that everyone's trying to find their tribe. I certainly found mine with the War Room, and I believe that many men are looking for that tribe or people that their souls align with.
Through the War Room and the real world, Tate attracted
Yeah,
young men
well
from
spoken.
across the
Yeah,
world
he
to join
broke
his
that
growing
down.
tribe.
He broke
Eli
that down.
joined Tate's War Room after seeing his videos during the pandemic.
Do you have a bottle of milk?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's raw milk, yeah.
Why?
Keep you hydrated.
There's water for that.
Yeah, but there's also raw milk for that.
But it's really hot outside. Like I can't imagine.
It's quite refreshing.
So I'm just distracted by your warm milk.
Yeah.
Eli says he was eventually kicked out for speaking up against leadership on how the organization was being run.
So how has your life changed since leaving the War Room?
After you leave a cult like the War Room, it takes time to deprogram your life from its influence. So I'm still undergoing that process of becoming myself again.
This is the War Room of Andrew Tate.
I joined the War Room after hearing about him online through a friend who told me, search this guy up Tate on YouTube. At the time, I was a young, impressionable 20-year-old guy, and I watched his YouTube videos, and I'm like, it's pretty cool.
To Andrew Tate. To Andrew Tate.
My man. My man. He just walking around with hot. That shit funny as hell. That's like a cartoon character thing. Like he just walks around with warm milk. That's bananas. Yeah, he got to go back over there. He got to go back to the War Room. He's wilding.
You dove pretty far into it. Like at some point you started actually working for Tate.
Yes, I met Tate in May of 2021.
You met him face to face?
In Miami, yes. I went to a War Room event there, which I paid money to go.
How much did you pay?
I paid $12,000, if I remember correctly.
$12,000?
Yeah, at the time, it was a lot of my money.
A lot of anyone's money.
Yeah, of course. A few months later, I was hired by him. I learned sales and I started doing very well, started breaking records. And as I did very well, I started getting more and more privileges, more and more duties.
What exactly were you selling?
The War Room. You'd learn to sell the War Room first, finding out what the person wants in life, understand them at a deep level. And once they understand it, then you bring out the pains that they have in their life and you make them very prominent. And I guess the pitch was just take whatever they told us and spin it back to them in their own words so that they feel like they've been heard.
You will learn the power of hypnosis, the magic of storytelling.
They want something in their lives that's lacking and they feel like the War Room can fulfill it, but they can't quite make that bridge, that connection between their minds and what the War Room can fulfill. Our job is to bridge that gap.
Transform yourselves into men of purpose, men of will, men of power.
If his thing is like, I'll teach you how to be rich, it's like, get yourself a bunch of followers who's willing to pay you money, and that's how you become rich.
They want to install Tate's brain into as many War Room members as possible, and that's what they did at the events. So it was more so, it wasn't bad that you paid that money to learn stuff. It was the agenda behind you paying the money and then you being psyoped into thinking this is what's best for me, when really you were losing your individuality. You were falling deeper and deeper into a cult and being cut off from the outside world.
But you know, supercars, girls, wealth isn't something we can all have. How did Tate make his case for being able to provide it or give it to the members of the War Room?
He'd lay out like a path, and it's called like the white path, to where you work on yourself, quote, you get in fighting shape, you make money with different online businesses,
Okay, so I'm like, I'm in.
Okay.
Take my money,
Sure.
however much I'm paying.
Sure.
I get in there and I see all these chat rooms.
Sure.
At what point is there an upsell?
So there used to be courses you would buy, and they would run anywhere from about 150, 100, 200 USD, all the way up to 1,200 USD, just for specific individual courses.
Like what kind of courses?
The baseline ones were the Iron Mind, which is about 700 USD. You had the,
which taught you to what?
How to have an iron mind, mental resilience, how to ignore your feelings and do the things you're supposed to do all the time. You had the fitness program, which is about 200 USD, chess course, which is about 200 USD.
Chess courses like teaching you how to play chess?
Literally just how to play chess. Yeah.
Do you have a number of how much you spent in total inside the war room, including getting into it?
Probably in excess of like $30,000.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
You spent $30,000? How good of a chess player are you?
Not that good.
Eli also helped sell Tate's online academy when it was called Hustlers University. It's now called The Real World, and its website claims to have 113,000 subscribers. If that number is accurate, at $49 a month, that would mean more than $66 million a year in revenue.
Is Tate the idea bigger than Tate the person? So if Tate the person goes to prison, do the ideas that Tate espoused, do they stay behind? Do they keep resonating with men?
That's a good question. Right now, I believe that, yes, it is bigger, but I also believe that the counter forces to counter the bigger image of Tate is also very strong. And a lot of people are snapping out of that trap.
In 2022, Tate was banned from YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram for offenses including violations of their hate speech policies. He was arrested later that year in Romania and again in 2024 for charges of sexual aggression, rape, and human trafficking. He is yet to be convicted and denies any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, Tate has been able to continue spreading his message through affiliate channels and his reinstated Twitter.
All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Podcast.
While Tate has been mired in legal issues and social media bans, a network of popular live shows within the manosphere have become more prominent. Shows like Whatever and Fresh and Fit have racked up millions of subscribers. They feature debates sometimes lasting more than 7 hours, typically pitting men against sex workers, OnlyFans models, and other women presented as representatives.
Yo, it's crazy, right? How on Fresh and Fit, yo, they always had thotties on there. Overt thotties. Which made it more entertaining. You gotta love this shit, man. You can't make it up.
Of modern feminism.
97% of girls nowadays are hoes.
You, my dear, are a appreciating asset. Every day that goes by, you're going to be less and less beautiful.
I don't want to be with a girl that's been with a bunch of dudes. If I've had sex with a bunch of girls, I've proven my value. If you had sex with a bunch of dudes, you've lost your value.
Wait, I have something to say. Like, how can you say women are privileged because they get these opportunities, but then judge them for acting on that privilege?
Farah Khalidi is a 24-year-old TikToker and OnlyFans model who has seized on this new dynamic.
I just love that we revert to these primordial justifications for wanting a woman with a low body count when guys are fucking with condoms, girls are on birth control.
A lot of people hear about these podcasts and about, how they talk about women. They will run the other way, and I can kind of understand why. But you wanted to engage with it.
I ran towards it. It gave me so much dopamine to discover the manosphere, because not only are they not afraid to give their full opinion on women and call them like whores and recreational use only and things like that, but they'll also like intellectualize it. The thing that frustrated me the most with like mainstream dating conventions is people.
She's attractive in a weird way, yo. But she reminds me of Mia Khalifa. I can't take her serious. She reminds me of Mia Khalifa.
Will hint at the sort of ideas that's espoused by the red pill, but not with their full chest.
Tell me about red pill.
I guess it depends who you ask. Red pill basically just means that, there are fundamental differences between men and women, but then because of that difference, women's sexuality should be much more restricted, and that men should kind of learn to game the system to get with women.
It's not about benefiting, it's about evening out the fact that my
Evening what out?
reproductive role is not 50-50, so why would we go 50-50 on bills?
There's a degree of like anthropology in this for you, right? You're almost like a researcher going into the wild.
Yeah, you can actually engage with it versus someone else. If you were to say like, oh, you want to control women, they'd be like, it's not about control, it's about like respect, it's about these things, you know what I mean? They're like
Yeah.
scared to actually own it versus Red Pill will own it with full force. So you can actually engage with it because they're actually in some way being intellectually honest.
What's the deal with having OnlyFans models and sex workers on these podcasts? There seems to be almost like a symbiotic relationship there.
I think it's kind of just an excuse for men to like voice their concerns in like the least gay way possible. I think they think if they just like have a bunch of 18-year-old women just like scantily clad and they talk about male depression and you know what I mean, like male mental health, but then they're like yelling at it to 18-year-olds, that it's like the most alpha way to kind of get opinions off their chest. I mean, obviously a big reason they have the sex workers there too is eye candy, of course, to like get people to click on and
I
stuff.
like her. She's smart.
In my case, I'm talking to you all because the audience will tune in more to watch bimbos like you, and so
We're helping your business. We did a tangible thing, Farha.
Yes, you
We have a
did. You
tangible
did actually. Yes.
I always feel like each issue that's presented on these shows is a smokescreen for an actual male issue that's being ignored. So, for instance, they take all these male issues, such as like the loneliness epidemic, and they'll blame it on women. They'll say your standards are too high. This is why men are lonely.
I don't think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you need to truly understand, if you're Joe Schmo, average in nearly every way, in Starbucks working, you ain't getting a DM ever.
But they also leave out the fact that men are not just lonely romantically and sexually, but also like platonically. Like the number of close friends that men have nowadays has significantly dropped since like the 70s. But it's less salacious and sexy to like corral a panel full of men and ask them why they're not talking to each other than it is to just blame it on the 18-year-old sex worker who says she wants like a guy taller than her, and then, you know what I mean, she won't sleep with a guy who's like 5'8" or something.
How big a part of the manosphere is like hero worship?
Yeah, I think it's a bulk of it. I think people aren't, men especially, aren't checking off the same milestones that they would have maybe a few decades ago in terms of like property ownership, even possessing a car, getting women and all these things. So the idea of being able to have this like seemingly cowboy lifestyle is very chic and enviable for a lot of these men who aren't hitting the same milestones that their parents did at their age.
Hard water makes it hard to keep your home looking.
Sandown, what's good, bro? What's good? Yeah, man. Yeah, she's smart. She was on point. I agreed with a lot of things she said, because you know, sometimes I don't want to sound like I'm insensitive, but yo, the world is a cold place, man. It's hard out here. It's hard out here. Women, yo, there's a lot of women that go through bullshit too. But we have to put that. You have to put the onus on you, fellas. There's a lot of guys that, due to material like this, now they believe that they're entitled to certain things. Everyone can't win in the world. So sometimes the reason why this is a little troubling is because it's like, what? Now do we want equity? No. You gotta compete. It's a market out there. Sundown, man, was good, bro. There's competition with everything out there. Getting a job, getting women. The milestones the men used to cross back in the 1970s aren't exactly the same milestones that men face today, especially young men. True. Circumstances were 100% different.
Women and all these things. So the idea of being able to have this like seemingly cowboy lifestyle is very chic and enviable for a lot of these men who aren't hitting the same milestones that their parents did at their age.
Winning is a serious affair. And you might realize that there's some people out there, there's some sharks in that water. Are you gonna be the fucking guppy in the water, or are you gonna be the shark in the water? I wanna be that person to give you permission to do what it takes to actually win. I also wanna provide you with an understanding as to what is surrounding you, what's in this environment that we're dealing with.
There's been a growth in the demand for masculine content, which is kind of what you do, right?
Of course, when people feel like they're suffering, whether they in fact are suffering or they just perceive themselves to be suffering or losing position, of course they're going to seek out something. They're seeking answers to, why am I suffering financially? Why do women expect me to be a rich guy like the rich guys I see on Instagram? Why are my natural instincts made an issue? Why is it your body, your choice, but my bank account? You looked constipated.
I have IBS. I'm always a little constipated. No. I was just because I was looking at that chart earlier, and I
saw you little.
I don't understand the circles.
Shit closer.
What are the circles on the side? It says +2, 1, and 0. What does that mean?
Good question. So, and this is not a reflection of reality. This is a reflection of what should be. So, great men, good men, bad men. A bad man should have no woman. He is not worthy of having a woman at all, ever. So he gets 0 women. A good man is most likely to have a woman because women are monogamous and they generally want you to be monogamous. A great man generally gets to have his way, so he may have 2 or more women.
Do you see yourself as a bit of a pastor to a flock?
No, not at all. I actually despise preachers. You see, what preachers often do.
You a good dude. You deserve you a woman. You a bad dude. You don't deserve it. If you don't got it, you don't deserve it. Essentially, is what he said. Yo, and my thing is like, yo, if you can't, if you're having trouble dealing with women, then do you want women to lower their standard, or do you want to improve yourself to be able to have that option of obtaining what you want? It's like, like if you're not desired, why should she be the sucker to desire you? It's crazy. People are followers, man. That's just human instinct. Human, not even human instinct. That's human nature, intrinsic.
Is they give you a lot of words, but they don't give you practical steps. I'm telling you, all the answers are actually within you. Turns out that you are even better than you realize. Let's unlock that. Let's figure out where you are today. Let's create a roadmap to get where you need to be tomorrow. Let me put you around other guys, a community that can get this done. So as opposed to a preacher, we actually are doing the things that are going to get you across the finish line.
Who wants to be great? Who wants to be someone that they can be proud of? You demonstrate self-love by what you invest in yourself. So someone would look at you and say, that's something to emulate. There's something driving him, and I need some of that. What is your way? I hope all of you came here to explore the world inside of you. The world outside is filthy and wicked. And exploring the world inside of you and cleaning that up, you're going to make a great offering. The Book of Dark Truth.
We're actually encouraging you to be ruthless and to go harder. It's a tough world out there. And one of the things we often do is boxing, and as much as it teaches so much and builds so much character.
How important is it to a guy to have been punched in the face?
It's critical.
Really?
You don't even understand the world. You have no clue as to the world that you're in. Much of our world is ruled by violence, and you've not even engaged in it. In fact, I wouldn't even trust a leader who's never either taken a bloody nose or given out a bloody nose.
How hard are you going to punch me?
You got some gloves, right?
Why would I have gloves?
I doesn't even know how to put a helmet on.
Do I look like someone who walks around with boxing gloves?
You about to get his ass whooped, nigga.
One of the unique things
Shut
about
up.
boxing versus other sports,
Go
if you
get
get
your ass
injured during a
whooped.
soccer game or a basketball game, timeout, pause. If you get injured during a boxing match, oh, that's what this is about. Now it's getting interesting. Now everyone's cheering.
Relax. Try to dominate the center, right? Relax.
Dominate what now?
Focus. Focus. Every time I touch you, that means you're getting hit. There you go.
Okay. All right. No.
How do you carry on? How do you keep fighting while you're injured? It's a great metaphor for life. You figure out how to do that through experience. It builds something different in you. And that's why when I teach guys, we're going to make you confident because you're going to be worth something. I'm not going to tell you to go get hair implants and get a jaw restructured and get veneers to become confident.
Yeah, motherfucker. You want to come over here and criticize what we doing, nigga? Whole lot.
We're going to put you in the fire and forge you into steel. And you'll be confident because you have the goods.
Awful. Yeah.
We have been asking a lot of questions about gender for a while, and with feminism and sort of all the waves of it, we've had, societal and policy-driven conversations around changing gendered expectations and ideals for women and girls. And I think that we're just starting to realize that we kind of forgot half of the population also has a gender. Like, these conversations are not totally new, but I think that we're in a new phase of an interesting moment, I think, in history, where men are starting to wonder, why aren't we having the same kind of gender revolution that our female counterparts have been having?
Hands on our laps, palms up. And I invite you to close your eyes. And take your right hand and place it on your heart. This is the space that we want to be in for the night. Placing your hand back on your lap.
That motherfucker was over there peeking. Yo, but there is therapy in that. That's therapeutic, yo. Just go outside and just scream. Ah! Just scream at the top of your lungs.
Groups like the Mankind Project are trying to help men across the country tap into a fuller range of emotions.
But I do want to go in a circle. What I invite now is to say the thing that I'm dealing with in my life right now. This is the most pressing.
lately I've been feeling really, really unfulfilled at my job, and just feeling a lot of fear around that.
So, yeah, I was laid off last year, and I still haven't found new work, and unemployment's running short, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life next. And I want to find something I enjoy, and I don't know what that feels like to actually enjoy a job.
When I tell people about this project we're doing, they're like, "Oh, you guys are doing a documentary about dudes feeling bad? Like, shut the fuck up. You guys are still running the world. Like, boo-hoo. Get your shit together."
I don't think that there's any way to deny that, patriarchy. Oh, big scary word, huge scary word, right? But there's no way to deny that there are like systems of control and domination that are still at play. And that, yeah, there is some tiny percentage of men who are the face of that. And it's mostly men who look like me. And then there's all of us. There's not one truth about that. Men are hurting, men are in pain, men suffer, isolation, depression, suicide. So that's true. And there can still be a system of domination and hierarchy that's in place, controlling a lot of the things in the world.
The media will say that masculinity is toxic. It's not functioning. There's a crisis, etc. And so all of a sudden, the culture starts to believe that that's the truth of all men. So we all get brushed with that stroke, if you will, and it's not necessarily true.
For me, looking back at my family, like my grandfather, he was a sheep farmer in the fjords of Norway. Like that's what he did. And I'm kind of feeling like a lot of us are at this point where there's no roadmap.
Yeah.
Like the world was like set out for us, what we were supposed to do, who we were supposed to be. And that's all gone now, right? I have no fucking idea. And like, am I alone in that?
No.
For me, growing up, the men were the jocks. Those were like the guys. So now when I look at it, those are not, the jocks are not the men that I want to look like or be like. I want to be like those men who are able to express their emotions.
There is real power in being emotionally accessible to our families, to our friends, to ourselves, to our partners. And that takes a lot of courage because there's risk in that.
And like not most people don't do this, right? Like most people don't sit in a room with other men and talk about it, but there's so many voices coming at you, especially online, right?
I think with the modern men's movement, it's all like things to do, right? Yeah, show my Lamborghini, my flashy watch, and then people will like me. And when we don't have the outer doing construct, all that's left is like, oh, I'm just some fucking guy wearing a mask and I'm in pain and I don't actually like myself or love myself. And so actually,
You see, but right there, okay. But the reason why that's conflicting is like a catch-22, because nobody wants to be these dudes either way though. Like, who wants to be these guys? We can't aim to be we want to be like the other dudes. We want to be the jocks. Why do we want to be the jocks? Because they represented physical fitness, superiority, physically you're strong, competent, competitive. And guess what? The women liked the jocks. So naturally we aim for the greater thing, right? You shouldn't aim to be the worst or the leftovers, the scraps. So I understand the competitiveness. This is what makes humans evolve and become better. This is why we're not living in caves, rubbing wood together to make fire. That's the alternative, right? I don't know. I mean, this is what this is about, evolving. challenges. This is what iron sharpens iron. This is how we get better.
Look someone in the eye and dismantle that and start to see who the hell am I without all these big things is what actually starts to get us in touch with ourselves and each other and say, well, who do I want to be and what do I actually want to do? And actually discover the truth instead of just these facades I put up to look good.
I don't think we can beat the online manosphere or the manfluencers. We can't beat the manfluencers online. We have to beat them on the streets. We have to beat them in the schools. We have to beat them in our families. We have to beat them in real life. The best antidote to a destructive online male figure in boys' lives and young men's lives is an in real life positive male figure. But I've noticed some parents reacting to their sons watching Andrew Tate videos more strongly than their sons watching porn. Right? It's almost like a panic. It's like, what do I do? Right? What do I do? He's watching this. It's like, first of all, you relax. First, calm down. Figure it out. And rather than just saying, how could you watch that stuff? Watch some of it with him. Have a conversation with him. What so many young men are hungering for is just an honest conversation about their struggles.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We just came up with a big list.
Man, I mean, I get what they saying and all that, being in tune with your feelings and all that. But maybe that's how he copes with things in his life. I don't know. I hear it, but I was almost repelled by their method of solving problems. You know, the solutions they were coming up with, it sounded like it was coming from a woman. Like, oh, let's talk about it. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it. You want to talk about how you feel? Like, how long are we going to talk about how we feel? How long are we going to talk about how we feel? I agree to an extent, fighter. I wanted to be the jock growing up, but as I got the nerds, innovate, and run the world, we got to be something between the two. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I never said don't be a nerd. I said be a nerd. Yeah, nigga. That's how competitive. You don't think Elon Musk is competitive? You don't think Nikola Tesla was competitive? You have to be competitive. They might not be, the big tough guy, but they're competitive. Yeah, they're too soft. Oh my God, let's talk about our feelings. And yeah, I'm not saying, oh, you got to be a construction worker, a truck driver, you got to be a fireman, you got to do all these manly jobs, an electrician. Nah, yeah, go ahead, be a doctor, bro. Be a scientist, invent something new. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But it seemed like they were shying away from pushing themselves to their limit. Don't push yourself to the limit. This is how we get better. This is how we evolve as humans. And that's the woman. What was that? Natural selection. Yeah, I mean, because we don't get nothing out of moping around, feeling bad for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't, And them group of men, yo, it looked like yo, they were all middle aged, chubby. It's like they had low self esteem because they giving up on life. What's good, Link? What up? I don't know. You know, bro, you know, it's like I don't have I don't have much tolerance. Like, I almost felt bad for people with that mentality like that. You know, like they kind of just give up and they say, "Oh, you know, life is hard." And they could shut the fuck up. And you know what it is? It was just my big brother, my father. They just raised me to not be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like stop, don't be a pussy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother was a immigrant working every day. Every day she was work every day. I think Sundays was the only day she took off. Like I can't be no bitch, you know? Can't be no bitch, man. All right, Pita Vita, yo. We got like 5 minutes left to the video.
Goggins. So there's a big list here. The easiest thing that like adults often do is be like, get rid of them all. Everything that they say is trash, is wrong. Like if you're stupid, if you believe it, and you're toxic, if you follow, like that's the easiest thing that a lot of adults often do because they either don't have time or don't have like, I don't know, enough like empathy or understanding for like, what does it feel like to be a teenage boy today? That's not what we're gonna do. We are challenging them and we will get there, but we wanna start by honestly pointing out the fact that they wouldn't exist in your algorithm if they weren't seeing something that made some amount of sense. What are some of the positive messages that resonate with you? Something that he says that is like actually like to some extent worth my time.
A lot of these people are like anti-fat, which would be negative.
Yeah.
But there's a part of that with it's them wanting you to be the healthiest version of yourself.
Some of them are teaching that you can have
Anti-fat, yo. Right. I met somebody. And I'm gonna do a video about that. 28 years old, and he has like a very defeatist mindset, like low self-esteem, like, and I'm like, damn, bro, like, where's the dog in you, bro? Life is gonna kick your fucking ass. And he's almost 30. Right? And I don't want to put this on him, but I could see him like giving up. Like Nirvana, nigga. Like just pew. Yo, that shit is that's really a sickness, bro. Like when you like yo, bro, you gotta be a warrior, bro. You don't have to be a killer, be a warrior of life. I mean, I think that's the better way to look at it. Yo, something happened to me the other day, and something that's gonna a hurdle. Inconvenience. But I was bothered. It had me fucked up. I ain't gonna lie, for like maybe a good 2 hours, 3 hours. That shit had me fucked up. Like, damn. But I told myself, yo, what you gonna do? Cry about it? How long are you gonna be stressed out about it? Were you gonna fall into depression? Nah. I made that video. Matter of fact, I made that video. What are you gonna do? You gotta find something within you and come up with a solution. Okay, all right. We know it's fucked up. Okay, you took the 2-3 hours to be sad about it and this and that. Like, damn, this is fucked up. This is not right. But then I checked myself and I said, all right, but this is not the way to go. Kurt Cobain. Yeah, okay, not Nirvana. Spend more time on thinking, okay, what do I have to do to set myself up that way I'm in a better position? And how can I fix this problem? Oh, it's a problem. So I got to think about it. I got to think of a solution. We can't afford to mope and dwell on our sorrows when we have a tomorrow to conquer. Like, what are we doing here, bro? And then it's like when you stay static, you're drowning yourself deeper. That's my assessment, you know? So all that yeah, that's all good. But how much of that are you gonna do that? For how long are you gonna do that? You gotta come up with a plan, bro.
Some measure of control in your life.
Yeah.
Whether if it's just when you get up in the morning, go to bed, like I think that can be a positive thing, right? You can hold on to like a little thing.
Yeah, and I think that's also their target audience being younger people who are kind of growing into the adulthood.
Yeah.
Who don't necessarily have a lot of control in their life.
It's become a lot more of an acceptance trend that it's okay to be how you are and you're perfect just how you are.
Like everyone's being told that you're perfect just the way you are, but it's also okay to be like, I'm unhappy with myself, and these guys are giving me some tips
with myself, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I want better for myself.
Yeah.
And they're giving me advice on how to get there.
Okay, let's genuinely bring everyone back now. So let's go to, this table is clearly in deep discussion. So let's go to Antonio, Ben, Will, Vegas. What's some of what you came up with?
In short, it's that it's become normal to believe that that you are okay just the way you are, and that you're perfect, and that you are unfixable, and there's nothing that you could do to improve yourself. But what these influencers that we're talking about promote, beneath all of the controversy and all of the bullshit that they might say, and the core message I think that they're trying to portray a lot of the time is that it's okay to not be okay with who you are in the moment, because you have goals of the future of a different you who is smarter, more capable, more charismatic, more good looking, stronger, more intelligent. Obviously they might over exaggerate that in the videos, but you also have to realize it's marketing tactics. They're trying to get people to look at them and to comment and to interact. So they will over-exaggerate certain emotions. I think overall, they do have a positive outlook on life.
Right.
And I do think that they are beneficial to listen to.
I think that, like Antonio had mentioned, there are some kind of underlying messages that can be perceived as positive, but I think a big thing that is negative and can be detrimental to young, underdeveloped minds is the treatment of women. And I think the kind of aspects of women cook and clean, women belong in the kitchen, guys should pay all your bills, is pretty barbaric and is something that can be put off. Like, we have the capability as a society to remove that. Right. But I think because of these people wanting this big monetization, I think they are pushing controversies that do involve women a lot. And yeah, I would consider myself a male feminist. And I am 6'1" and I am a millionaire. So Yeah, I think this is very important for sure.
We need a version of masculinity that still captures some of the good things about masculinity, including some courage and some agency and some risk-taking, but also that's compatible with gender equality. Most young men support gender equality, but when you ask them, do you think feminism is a good thing? They're much less likely to say yes. Feminism means supporting women to have equality with men. That's not what that generation are hearing. And so the idea of gender equality is not really in question anymore. What's in question is how do we treat men in that world of gender equality as well as how do we treat women?
Women and girls have been guided. I have been guided by women who are older than me who said, I don't want you to face the same obstacles that I faced. I'm going to support you. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to mentor you. That kind of mentorship is not happening for young men at the level that they need. And so it's left them feeling very isolated and easy, to prey on.
There's always been a market for, let's call it snake oil masculinity cures, right? There's always been a market for that. That's not new. What is new is that there are a lot of men and boys who are really in trouble, and you're offering a balm for that suffering. And that is only going to work when the suffering is real and when other people are not acknowledging it. We create a market for snake oil salesmen if we don't have better cures ourselves, and sometimes even deny the very suffering that might be causing people to go to them.
That was good. That was good. That was good. All right, let me drop the link. See if anybody want to come through, man. Hit that like button. I'm gonna move my welcome back party. I'm gonna move it to Monday. Or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. I'm not gonna do it tomorrow. I want to promote it and all that. But yo, I think this was good, man. Because I think it's finding the balance, right? And like that whole self-growth journey, that's important. And just if you're not happy where you are in life, you just like stand back and realizing that you're capable of manipulating your position, like, right, or improving. And I think that's very important versus having the attitude that you're stuck and it's over and you're doomed. Damn. Optimism is way better. And then taking action is even superb. You know what I mean? But listen, man, it's been almost 2 hours. I'll be back live. Today is Sunday. I'll be back live again today. My welcome back party, I think Monday night. Monday night. Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all.
Mess with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you not. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Brace yourself for the main event. Y'all impatiently waiting. It's like an AIDS test. What's the results? Not positive. Who's the best? Pop, Nas, and Big. Ain't no best. East, west, north, south, floor style greetings. I embrace y'all with napalm. Blows up, no guts. Left chest, face gone. How can Nas be garbage? At your college. At the side of your dome, come out of my throne. I got this locked since 9-1. I am the truest. Name a rapper that I ain't influenced. Gave y'all chapters, but now I keep my eyes on the Judas. With Hawaiian soul fame, kept my name in his music. Check it, mess with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you not. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Yo, pass me the L. Put my ass out on these little dudes. All y'all little girls kneel down, kiss the ring. Mess with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you not. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Over, left for dead, distant, forgotten. Luck ran out. They hope that I'll be gone, stiff and rotten. Y'all just on me, spit on my grave. Talk about me, laugh behind my back, but in my face, shot some well-wishing, friendly acting, envy, hiding snakes. With your hands out for my money, man, how much can I take when the streets keep calling? Heard it when I was asleep, that this gazy and fella records wanted beef. Started cocking up my slowly loading up this to explode it on a camel and his soldiers. I can handle this Fadolo and his manuscript just sounds stupid when KRS already made an album called Blueprint. First, Biggie's your man, then you got the nerve to say that you better than Big. Sucking lips, won't you let the late great veteran live? Will Godson across the belly, I prove you lost already. King's back, where my crown at? Ill will, rest in peace, let's do it. Mess with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you not. Godson across the belly, I prove you lost already. Y'all deal with emotions like what's sad is I love you cause you're my brother. You traded your soul for riches. My child, I've watched you grow up to be famous, and now I smile like a proud dad watching his only son that made it. You seem to be only concerned with dissing women. Were you abused as a child, scared to smile? They called you ugly? Well, life is harsh, hug me, don't reject me. I'll make records to disrespect me, blatant or indirectly. In 88, you was getting chased to your building, calling my crib, and I ain't even give you my numbers. All I did was give you a style for you to run with, smiling in my face, glad to break bread with the guard, wearing jazz chains, no cash, no cars, no jail bars, jigger, no pies, no case, just Hawaiian shirts, hanging with Little Chase. You a fan, a phony, a fake, you stand, I still whip your, you 36 in a karate class, you Tybo, trying to work it out, you trying to get brolic, ask me if I'm trying to kick knowledge, nah, I'm trying to kick this, you need to learn though, that ether, that make your soul burn slow. Is he Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy? Oh, I get it, you Biggie and he's Puffy. Rockefeller died of AIDS, that was the end of his chapter. And that's the guy I chose to name your company after? Put it together, I rock, y'all rock fellas. And now y'all trying to take my spot, fellas? Philly's hot rock fellas, put you in a dry spot, fellas. In a pine box with 9 for my fellas. Foxy got you hot cause you kept your face in a puss. What you think, you getting girls now cause of your looks? Negro, please. You know mustache having with whiskers like a rat compared to beads, you whack. And your man